Hi guys, I'm coming to you on Sunday morning, quite early in the morning, but no, much different than last week when I always came right late in the day because this afternoon I'm attending a tea party, which I'm very much looking forward to. So you're going to be getting this video and my announcement video for the next book in the challenge earlier in the day than usual. So it's time to talk about the book I've been reading this week, which is The Death Cure by James Dashner. This is the third book in the Maze Runner series. The last one as well, so after this one I'll be picking a book from the jar again, but for the time being let's talk about this fantastic book. Now, exactly the same as the previous book, James just takes off right where the last book ended. He doesn't faff around, he doesn't do, referring back to what's happened, none of that, he just goes straight into it. So once again, James, totally respect you for doing that. Now, I have to say, The Death Cure is quite different from the other two books because this is the point where all bets are off. Even though you could argue that in this, in the second book as well as possibly in the third. Well, no, more in the second book. There is a distinct shift that has happened, which means that this one is on a completely different level than the other two, which I think was why it's I would, personally argue that it's my favourite one out of the three. Even though the other two are really interesting, this third one I find very, very interesting. So where does it start off? It starts off, as I said, right after the events of the second one happens. Now, at the end of the second one, the group are kind of all over the place. So the main group of them are off out in the world. Thomas is with Wicked. He's been captured and he's trying best that he can to get out of this situation and at the beginning he is being locked in a padded room with the lights on 24/7, and there's a tiny slot in the door where his food gets pushed through 3 times a day, and it's the exact same meal 3 times a day, for 3 weeks. He doesn't see anyone, he's just not allowed to shower, he can't change his clothes, he's got nothing to sleep on, no pillows, no duvet, nothing. He's just in an empty room, and 3 times a day the slot gets opened and his food gets pushed through. That's it. And it's slowly driving him insane. You can understand why. After 3 weeks, he's basically told, okay, we're going to reunite you with your friends, they're all here, which happens, and then all the hell breaks loose. And I won't go too much information there, but I'm going to have the spoiler section in this video, so I will talk more in depth about the book later on, where I'll give you some more information. Now, there's some really big revelations about the whole, about characters that we have met. We get reunited with a character who we haven't seen since the first book. And in general, I think this is the one where Thomas it kind of finds peace. I don't know. It kind of reminded me when I was reading and rereading that it's this thing that because of what they've been through, Thomas is never going to be fully okay. He'll be the best that he can be, but he'll never be fully okay. It's kind of like Frodo in The Lord of the Rings. Even though he has been through, all this horrific stuff, he's come out the other side. He's back home. Well, not home, but I'll talk about that later. He's safe. He's always going to be plagued by dreams and such. He's always going to be having psychological issues. And I suppose, Ali, you could say the same about, Katniss and Peter in the Hunger Games. Even though they find peace at the end, there's always going to be psychological issues with both of them going forward. So, I feel that same thing is going to be happening with Thomas after the book ends. But that's, he's comforted, he's got peace at last, so I'm thrilled for him in that regard. Now, I spoke in the last video how when I was comparing the film version of the Scottish Trials to the book, how in the film there is a big emphasis on the right arm. They're not even mentioned in the second book. They appear in the third book, and when they appear in the third book, it's a case of that there's, as I said, there's a character from the first book who comes back, as it were, and they are in the right arm, and it's a big deal. And what the right arm stand for and what they do and everything, it's got they've got very, very clear motives of what they're going to do, what they want to do. Sometimes they don't necessarily think of the logic of some aspects, whereas because they see, right, let's just get this organization, let's just destroy it, so let's blow it up. But they don't think about the people inside the building, if you see what I mean. So so there are some moments where I was on tenterhooks the first time, as I was at the reread, going, oh my god, this thing is happening, but what about those people? Blah, blah. Your mind starts racing, and you're in the Thomas's position where he's trying to help those who need help, the innocent people inside that building, before all hell breaks loose and they could possibly die. It's it's a very interesting position to be in, because I was also thinking when I was rereading this about the Hunger Games books, which I also absolutely love, how the whole thing of bringing down an organisation, in that case it's the politicians and such of where they are, that everyone in that building are on the same team, so therefore they're all to go down, as it were. But then you have the innocent people in from that area, and there's a really interesting section of the last Hunger Games book where you're seeing these people from the area, from the capital is what it's called, and they are gathering and they're bringing their children together, and they're trying to get out these innocent people, and then all of a sudden it looks like aid is coming and they are blown up, and it's a real shocker of a moment in the book that just, oh god, it's chilling. It's so cold, that event that happens. Really quite sick to your stomach feeling when I read it. Whereas in the Death Cure, what Thomas is doing is that he's recognizing that there are these innocent people, and he is determined to do whatever he can to get them out of this situation. Where like in Hunger Games, it's kind of Katniss is blocked from doing it. She can't do it, and she has to watch this event happen, unfold. Watch it unfold. So you got that same kind of play with it, but what Thomas does and what the group does, how they react to things. It's obviously it plays out differently because it's a completely different book, but it's I couldn't help have the parallels there in my mind whilst rereading it. I have to say, as I said, this is like my favourite one of the three, and I think it's because that's a thing of all bets are off. We learn a lot of things about this world, and the whole line that constantly gets said by Teresa and is completely set over and other characters over and over again. Wicked is good. You never trust it. Wicked is always this bad company that did these most horrific things, and they're still a really bad company for doing this. But one gesture from one person has meant a humongous thing for the ending, and if that is the only thing that Wicked is good for, as it kind of implies in the very last chapter, bit of the book, then surely that means that Wicked is good. It's done. We have to learn from these terrible, horrible things that we have done, this destruction that we have formed, but we did this one act which has meant a huge difference to the human race. So that doesn't completely blind you to the bad stuff that they did, but at least it means that they did something good which can have an effect for further generations in a really positive way. So yeah, it's very interesting how wicked becomes good in this book. But I absolutely loved it. The pace is brilliant. I never got bored. I never got tired. I just devoured it. I really, really loved it. Okay, so now, spoiler section. This is where I'm going to talk about some more in-depth stuff about the book, and I'm going to start off with a really kind of huge revelation that happened. So if you don't want to be spoiled, stop this video here, and thanks for watching. If you do decide to stop, and if you decide to carry on, fabulous. Here we go. Right, first revelation that Brenda and has not got the flare. Sorry, my words just completely fell out my head then. I was thinking, right, here we go, and then my completely blank. That was brilliant. Right, so Brenda and Jorge are actually working for Wicked. Now, when we're told this, it's a bit like, what the hell? You told us that in the Scorch that you had the flare. You were just one of the people around who got coordinates. What the hell is going on? And it turns out they were employed by Wicked to basically find the group and lead them to where they needed to be. They're both immune from the flare, as are many of the group. Who were in the glade and everything. So it was a case of they're going to be fine, they don't have to worry about it, they just have to go along and play with it. But Brenda revealed a lot of truths about herself and everything throughout the course of meeting Thomas. And as she said, even though, okay, I was told to do this by Wicked, it wasn't my choice, I was forced to do it. Everything that I've said was true, and I want to help you. I want to, send Wicked down. So it takes a bit of time for Thomas to process this, which he can understand. She's lied to him. But I think with Brenda, the lies which have been told are on a completely different level than what the lies that Teresa told him and everything. So I was really shocked by Brenda, by this revelation, but I was so glad that Thomas very, very quickly accepts it and just goes, right, okay, let's just move on. Whereas with Teresa, it's completely different level. And when, stuff happens with her, I was a bit like, yeah, I don't give a crap. So, I want her gone. I'm sorry, I don't like her. I want her gone. So, I was really glad that Brenda revealed the truth and that they are together, they're happy. And it kind of implied that they'll probably be together, in a relationship together, which is kind of nice. I like Brenda. You just have to see what happens with them in the future. But I like the fact that it closes and we're not revealed. There's no many years later. Don't need to reveal stuff. It's a case of this is their new life. Let them just go out and live it. Go for it. You'll see. See how it goes. Gally. He comes back. I have to say, Gally's a very interesting character. Rereading the Maze Runner books, I kind of grew more to like him. Not that I'm saying I didn't like him before. He was just a character. He was there, and that was kind of it. He was the guy who constantly go, no, I don't agree when everybody else agrees. So he was, the conflicting voice. But how his character evolves and everything is very interesting. And when he comes back and he says, look, Wicked fixed me up after you threw a spear at me. I'm fine. Bit messed up in the head, I covered in scars on all my body from when I escaped, Wicked and everything. When I got out, I was saved by the right arm. But I'm okay. And FYI, as I was forced to shoot you, in that room, Wicked forced me to do it. I was not in control of my body. Chuck was forced to run in front of you and die for you. So that is huge deal. So as I was saying in the first video, that when they changed it in the film so that it was his choice to do it, it puts his status in Thomas's mind, and what that then, this whole revelation in the third book, it puts it in a completely different place. And I don't think it'll work, because this whole thing of I was not in control of myself meant the Galley understands Thomas. He is on the same level as Thomas. Thomas can accept him back again into his life and go, right, Wicked forced you to do that. You were out of control. I accept that. If it was a case of it was your choice, I would be going absolutely freaking mental at you right now and killing you. So the fact that he changed it for the film, I didn't like that, and I'm really concerned about what that means for the future going forward. I really do. I want to talk about one character who died, who I was really upset about, one character who died who I didn't give a crap. Right, so the first one who died that I was so upset about, Newt. I was devastated when Newt died in the first time round and in the reread. It was so hard. I was like, oh God. So the fact that with Newt, he got the flare, he gave a note to Thomas saying, open this when the time is right, and there was this whole thing about how he got taken away. They went to find him. He told them to basically go away and all this lot. And then later on, Thomas finds him on a street, nearly entirely gone. He was really bad. And the note said, if you're a friend, kill me. And that was like, oh my God. And then Thomas had to, say to him, Newt, it's me, look at me, it's Thomas, it's me. And Newt gets really upset and basically, he's on top of him and stuff like that, and he moves his head so that the bullet is right in the centre of his brain and just screams, kill me, kill me, kill me, all over again. And Thomas having to make the decision to do it, and he knows that he has to do it. No matter what, he has to do it. Even though he feels that he can't, and he keeps saying, I can't. He has to do it. For his friend, after everything that they've been through, a friend who trusts him with anything, absolutely everything, he has to do it for his friend. And it is a really gut-wrenching moment when he does it. The decision that is said in the last chapter, where it said that Thomas made the decision there and then in front of Miho to not tell him, to never tell him what happened with Newt. That's hard, I think, and that's why I was thinking the psychological aspect in regards to, he's never going to be at rest. He's always going to have that in his mind. I killed one of my best friends, but he did it for the right reason. He helped Newt get out of the pain that he was in, and it does. I couldn't help but think when I read that. I know it's a different thing because of the whole what the flare is and all this, but it did make me think of I'll say it, assisted suicide, because Newt can't do it to himself, but he knows his friend can, and he wants to be out of pain. He doesn't want to become this monster. He wants to die on his own terms, and he asks Thomas for his help. And even though Thomas is going to be plagued by it for the rest of his life, he knows that he can't plague it, have other people carry it. It's his burden. And so, that's why I think psychologically he's always going to be, he's never going to find rest for that. Now the death of the character that I really didn't give a crap about, Teresa. I was quite happy when it happened the first time. I was quite happy when it happened in the reread. I'm sorry, I don't like Teresa. I'm not a fan of hers whatsoever because of all of the crap that she's put Thomas through. That's the only reason. As a character, okay, we've learned a lot about her, through the various dreams and all this stuff and everything. But at the same time, I still, after the reread, I still don't feel I know her. But I don't know if that's just because I feel negatively towards her. I therefore don't want to know. I tried to put all my thoughts and my memories and out of the first read of these books behind me when I reread them. But still, I didn't get along with Teresa, so sorry. I don't like Teresa. I'm sorry. I mean, there's lots of people in the fandom who love Teresa and hate Brenda. I'm the other way around. I think Brenda's had more. I feel more for her. Than I do Teresa. Even though she's only been in 2 out of the 3 books. I really like Brenda. Sorry, guys. It's the way it is. All right then, I think that has pretty much covered everything I can think of at the moment to talk about The Death Cure by James Dashner. It's been a really, really great rereading these books. These books aren't going to be disappearing off my bookshelf any soon. I absolutely love them. I really, really strongly recommend them. I think I might next year, once the book challenge is over, get the prequels. Well, the first prequel, it came out I think a few years ago, and the second one is due out in September, but I'm not sure exactly when. So by next year it'll be in paperback, so then I'll have all my collection in paperback. I really, really, really strongly recommend James Dashner's books. He is a fantastic author, one of the best YA authors I've ever come across. Really, really read these books; they're amazing. Okay then. That's it for the Maze Runner reviews. Hey! So as usual, I'll do another video announcing what book I'm going to be reading next, and it'll be coming out the jar. And I will see you guys later then. But if you want to leave a comment, if you've read this book, or if you want to give me a thumbs up, thumbs down, show me what you thought, entirely up to you. But yeah, I'll see you guys later. Bye!